So this is where we were the other day. We had started out creating a scene using 3D Forge assets, but I'd come across a whole bunch of problems, some of which I have resolved. So I'm going to go through those, and then once I've gone through them all, I will build a new city from scratch. But first of all, I want to sort out this terrain because it's ugly. I'm not going to create a complete terrain, but I'm at least going to put a grass layer on here so that it doesn't look quite so ugly. So let's go into the paint. We're going to paint texture, edit terrain layers, add layer. We have a bunch of layers already. Here's a grass layer and another one. Use that one. Okay, there we go. That looks a little nicer, to say the least. Alright, so let's get in down here. So one of the problems I had the other day was the scaling of my texture here. Oh, I'm still on the terrain. And that is easily fixed, it turns out, in the material, which is something I tried messing about with, but I just couldn't find the right settings. And basically you change the tiling to something like 2 and 8 or 2 and 12, depending on exactly what your material looks like, and that kind of makes it a little better, although not here. Let's have a look as to why that is, because that's still using Dirt 01. And I have changed Dirt 02, not Dirt 01. So let's make them all the same, generate the road, and it looks a little better. Not a lot better, but a little better. So let's change it a little more. Let's go to 12, that looks a little better still. Maybe 14. Okay, we're starting to get there. 16, whoops, 20, 22, starting to get there, 30, that's looking reasonable. Got some nasty tiling right now, but we'll not worry about that for now. It looks a lot better than it did for sure. And so now I feel reasonably confident that I can change the pavement as well. So we can do that by selecting the pavement, cell, where is, oh, sidewalk material is here. So we currently have Dirt 18. What does that look like? That isn't Dirt 18 that I'm seeing there. Let's generate the cell. Okay. Not quite sure. Actually, yeah, let's try Dirt 21. Sidewalk material. Generate the cell. Why is it not generating the cell there? Let's have a look. Those are the those are the global settings. Ah, oh, I just changed them across all of the roads there, but I did change it on the. So that checkbox is a button, not a checkbox, which is something that I've noticed is fairly inconsistent across the board on these things. So let's try this on the same. 22 definitely doesn't work. Maybe 4. Let's get in a bit closer. When you're getting really close, it looks okay. But the tiling back here is pretty awful. So these are not the best textures to use, clearly. but just trying to improve it. That'll do for now. It's a bit big, but it'll do for now. Okay, now one of the other things that I was mucking about with is how to get the spawners, and that really threw me, because, excuse me drinking, I'm only just starting the stream. I shall try to remember to move away from the mic when I do that. It's horrible a noise when you hear it on a mic. Anyway, the spawners were supposedly click on the road and you get the spawner at the bottom of the you get the ability to add spawners at the bottom of the CiDy editor, but it only actually happens if you shift click, and then you have to click again to make it go blue with a shift click. So it's no wonder I couldn't find it even with watching the videos, because that was not explained. It was, oh, click on it. Well, it didn't work. But once you've got that, you can go down here and you have this ability here to add spawners in. And what I've got in this one is I'm spawning in these wagons here. So if I go in and have a look at the wagons, the problem is it's spawning below the surface. So I'm going to have to take that wagon, I'm on the terrain, take that wagon. Why am I not picking it up in the... don't know why that's happening, but I can do it for anyway. On the prefab itself, go find that wagon. Here is the wagon. Drag a copy of it into the scene. Oh, that's a fence, not a wagon. I'll come back to the fence in a minute. There's the wagon. Drag it into the scene. That's the wagon that I want. But as you can see, it has a height of 0.55, whereas the other wagon is being put on 0, which is being overridden by the spawner. I have mentioned this to the publisher, and he says he'll change it. So I'll just give him some time, and he'll allow you to put an override inside the configuration of the spawner. In the meantime, what I'm going to have to do is put that inside of a holding object. Wagon, that's a cart 1C, and then drag the wagon into the cart, into the holder I should say, and then make sure it is at 0.55, and while I'm here, a wagon, whoops, didn't mean that, a wagon wouldn't have the things up in the air like that, so I will take the opportunity to also fix that. And then bring it up just a touch, maybe 2.9. There we go. So now I have a wagon that is, it can be put at 0.0, except it was already in the air a little bit for some reason. So that's going to want to go to 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 4, I think 3.4. I can turn that into a prefab inside of my project and use that on the spawner instead. Okay, and then I can go back to my CiDy editor, and instead of using that, I drop that in, take this one out of the scene, and in theory now I can regenerate this road, and that spawner, I can actually click generate mesh, and in theory it'll bring it up, but it doesn't. There we go, it did. I needed to generate the whole thing, not just the mesh. Okay, so it's still a bit low, and it's gonna change the rotation because I changed the rotation of the container, not the wagon, of the mesh. So I need to go into here and rotate it there. Okay, good. That should work now. And I will need to regenerate. Shift click once, then again. Click generate. There we go. Now, another limitation of this is that it will only spawn at a fixed distance. Which means I have a cart every 30 meters or whatever it's set to, which is absolutely not what I want. I'm going to come back to fixing that in a moment. The other thing is this fence. Now this fence works straight out the box. I didn't have to do any jumping around, and that is done by this spawner here. Let's just remove that spawner and show you how it works. So add spawner. Scroll down a bit. I'm going to say we want a prefab, and that prefab, let's say it's going to be this piece of fence. I think it's that. Let's have a look. Yep, that piece of fence. And I'm going to have a spacing of 1. And I think that's all we need to do, actually. So we can generate the mesh. Oh, yeah, let's put it down the middle of the road. So I want it on the left of the road. So somewhere in here is an offset there. I've asked him to make this offset wrong way. To make this offset a vector, and that would solve the problem that we had with the wagon, because we could put the Y offset in the offset inside of the spawner here. And it would, of course, mean that we wouldn't have to work quite so hard. All right, so that's good. Now, the other thing that I know is, oh, why has that gone back to the previous mesh? Okay, shift click again, generate cell. It's got the wrong mesh in it. Why is that? I am not sure. It worked before, didn't it? If I do that, it works. That's interesting. Okay, so there must be a setting somewhere that does that. Okay, the other thing what I was going to do is we don't want this curb in a medieval village. We need to drop that. And that is set, I believe, in here somewhere. Sidewalk height, 0. It has to be at 0, 1. Okay, fair enough. And it's gone back to the previous texture. And I still have a height. I don't want a height. Can I not have 0 height? I can't. That's the minimum height. Okay. Well, I don't see why that's the case. I don't think the author has created a medieval city using his asset, which is fine. Oh. Okay, it's looking good though. We're getting there, aren't we? Slowly but surely. A bit of sea fighting here on the textures. I can go here and say blend city to terrain, and that may fix that. I don't know. Nope. So can I do it with the road? Road mesh details. So we had this problem the other day, and I actually raised the road in the transform, but I don't want to do that. I've never actually seen this problem when I have texture in the terrain. So maybe we should just go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'll just do some painting then. We don't want it to be too strong. Probably make it a bit bigger than that. So go back to CiDy editor and say grab the terrain heights. Got no vegetation to grab. Let's just say update the layout to the city this time. To the terrain, I should say. This is going to take a few moments, but this is going to, in theory, change the height of all of the roads and the cells and the buildings within the cells to match the current terrain height. Let's see, how well have we done? We have done terribly. It has not worked at all, and it's even overridden all of my changes again. Oh no, it hasn't. You hear in the tone in my voice, however, that it has done this before, and it's certainly done it on my pavement, my sidewalk here. What happens if I do that? Yay, that looks better. Still have our rougher terrain. Okay, weirdness with the road there. I think that was me messing around with textures on that road previously. So I don't think we can blame CiDy for that. That's weird. I think I need to regenerate that cell. Oops. I don't want to. Let's get off the paintbrush. Activated. Don't want the paintbrush. There we go. There we go. Shift select. Generate the cell. What happens? Absolutely nothing. Okay, I don't understand. We're okay over here, I think. Seem okay over here. But over here, we have this weirdness going on in this corner. Well, anyway, that's too steep, so let's fix that. Select the terrain. Activate. I think I need it a little bit higher than that. Let's make it maybe 4. does that happen to do? And then update city to terrain heights. Okay, I think I might get it this time. Dee. I ought not to sing. I am not like Messy Coder, who has a reasonably good singing voice. Not me, though. Alright. Now what happens if I do that? Is that going to put it back as it was before? Let's see. Alright, that is looking better. Weirdly, though, this house is still in the ground. Whereas in the past when I've done this, it has created pedestals for it to sit on when it's not fitted. So that might be a setting I've got wrong somewhere here. How about a city wall? What do you think? Should we put a city wall on it? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I wonder if that'll work. Yeah, that's worth a try. And then whilst that's importing, yeah, I haven't got it imported already. Whilst that is importing, I can have a look to see how I raise the buildings up. So let's import the city walls pack. Okay, so city wall, I think is the name. Yep, I love the way it says there are no results for ages, and then it says, oh, actually, I've changed my mind, there are results. Alright, so that is going to be imported, and we'll stick city walls all the way around the outside of the outer roads. That should be really cool. I don't know how it's going to cope on the corners, though. Alright, so let's start with... let's use corner pieces. Let's use... That's got a walkway. Let's use that. Alright, so I need to go to an outside wall. This one, for example. Go down here, click Add Spawner. And say I want... Where are we? Road markings. I don't want road markings. I want a prefab. Put... Was it... this one? Yeah. Put the 3x5 in there. So if it's 3x5, I'm going to need... I presume the 5 is the length. Let's see what we get when we generate the mesh for that. Alright, that's looking good. Okay, but it wants to be away from the road. Let's say maybe 8 meters. There we go. Don't know how we're going to do these corners though. Let's do a road next to it and see what we get. Add a spawner. City wall 3x5. Oops, needs to be a prefab. 3x5. 5 meters, and then I said it was an 8 meter offset. Generate the mesh. Looking good. Alright, how am I going to do that? Because I don't believe you can put a spawner on there. I wonder if I can use this, because I can use this to make it appear. Yeah, I can make it longer and shorter. So if I do that and put a longer piece on the end, I'm assuming if I put this up to 6, I'm going to get 1 meter gaps between. I'm not. It's interesting. We've put it up to 10 then. Whoa, 10. Oh. Okay. 20. There we go. Now we've got gaps. Why is that one not got a gap in it? And if it's 3 by 5, each one must be... I'm confused. I'm very confused. Make it, I don't know, 18, what do I get? They've separated now. Must just be the odd setup on it, you know, the odd number. But what's actually going to be the right number for them to overlap? Or not overlap? Because this doesn't seem to bear any relation. To the actual size of the object. Alright, well that works. Why it's 12, I do not know. But it is. Okay, so let's do the same on this road. And now let's figure out how to do this bit in between. Now, to be fair to CiDy, it isn't designed to do this kind of thing. This is the reason it has this feature in it is for doing like barriers at the side of roads and things like that. So I am doing something that it's really not supposed to do. Yeah, I can't think of a way I'm going to be able to do that. Short of putting maybe a tower or something in there that it can disappear, the walls can disappear into. Let's try that. Let's try a tower. Style 1, whatever that is. And we need a big one. What's that? Oh, there's a load of them. Oh. No, we probably just want them to just disappear in. Yeah, it has walkways on all of them, which is not ideal because they're not going to match up properly, are they? I just want a tower. Maybe gatehouses have them. That's better. That's what I'm looking for, but I don't really want a gatehouse in every corner. Let's have a proper look through these, see if I get one without. Nope, they've all got walls on. Don't want walls on them. Shame. But there's a whole load more tiles down here, so let's try them. Nope. I think I'm going to be out of luck. So 3D Forge assets are wonderful pieces of Lego, but just like Lego, when you're trying to do something a little bit different from what they're intended, you have problems. Okay, so is he providing? Can I take the sleeves, the things off this? Let's have a look. Is it possible to open up this, take away the walkways? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Shame. Okay, so that's not going to work. Wonder if I just put longer walls in. Have them overlap, but it's stopping it at the end of the road, isn't it? No, it's not, because the road stops there. Let's just try that. Try putting the 3x15 in instead. Generate mesh. Kind of working. Okay, now I've got to figure out what this is. Well, if it's 3 times the size, maybe it's 3 times on here as well. Ha, it is. Oh, this might actually work. So then shift click on this one. 3x15. 36. Generate. Okay. And then here I'm going to need to, is this the beginning or the end? I'm not sure. Let's find out. It's the end. Okay. So I'm going to need to do that. Bring it into maybe here. Did that change? Don't think it did. Okay. Ah. It's all or nothing, isn't it? 98, 99. Come on, 99. Oh! Oh, 99. Got it. Yeah, it's all or nothing. Foiled again. All right. Not good. See, if I was using a grid-based system, then this would work really well. Shame. Shame, shame. All right. Didn't work out. What we got in the add-ons? Let's see. Tower sleeves. Ah. What's this? Oh, I can make my own towers. Of course I can. This is 3D Forge stuff. Of course I can make my own towers. That's what he does. He gives you all of the bits. I'm a silly person for doubting him. The blacksmith does some amazing work. He really does. So what's that then? If I can't quite see it in the thing. So it's nothing by the looks of it. It's just a yeah, maybe a floor stone or something. Tower roofs, tower sleeves. What I want is a tall sleeve, something like that. Is that? That's not one-sided. Okay, let's try that. Let's have a look at what that does. It's looking good. It's in the wrong place, but it's looking good. Oh, let's go back to our road here and put that back to using the shorter version, because that worked much better, I think. 3x5 at 12. Generate the mesh. Okay, and then this one too. That one's already on the... Oh no, we're not selecting it. Shift click. Silly me. Why would I expect it to work the same as everything else in Unity? I do not know. Okay. So then we grab this sleeve and we move it over here. But how are we going to generate it? And it doesn't quite fit either. What I might do if I put it on the ground. Too small. That's my dog sneezing in the background. Sneezy Kaiser. Me? Hello. Okay. Not quite right. So that's a 3x3 sleeve. There's a 5x. Oh no, that's not a sleeve. Sleeves. There's only 3x3s. Ugh. Well, if I go back to using, maybe use the 10s. And that would be, it's twice the size, so that would be 24. That's better. And do the same thing over here. $24. Right. That's not quite right because it's not doing it right there. Yeah, it's not right, is it? There's a funniness over here too. Or is that just a change in the height and the terrain? It might be a change in the height and the terrain. Okay, so how can I do with this? Tower sleeve. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you you typing there. How to spawn birds with Emerald AI. How to spawn birds with Emerald AI. I don't know that I've ever done that. I don't use Emerald AI a lot, to be honest with you. I just use it for prototyping things quickly, but you quickly run out of flexibility with Emerald. Do you own Crooks? So Crooks is a spawner, and well, actually, two questions there. Do you own Crooks? Because if you did, I can tell you exactly how to do it with Crooks, which is a pretty powerful spawner. But then you need a different AI asset for the birds than Emerald AI. So if you want to use Emerald to use them for some specific reason, you want Emerald, it wouldn't work for you. But there is a really good, although not that cheap, option. You do have Crooks. Oh, okay, so it's Crooks you want to do. All right, so what do you want the birds to do? Do you want them to just kind of fly around in the sky when you come nearby, or are they actual AI elements? And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to import Crooks. I haven't used Crooks for ages. It's not a bad asset. I just haven't used it. So you just want them to fly around. And then, so you want to use Crooks so that they're only there when your player is nearby? I'm going to assume that is the case. Just let me know if it's not. What I would recommend you do, if you don't already have an AI for your birds, there is actually a free version of this. So let me show you both. A friend of mine recommends the free one. I've never actually used it, but I do trust Warspawn. If he says it's good, it probably is. The one I use is not cheap. So yeah, whenever player May see some birds in the sky, just like spawning the deers. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's see if we can do that, because it's interesting, and I'm getting a bit bored of fighting with these walls. So let's see if we can do it. All right, still compiling. There we go, we compiled. All right, so let's see if we can do it with the free one. Well, let me first of all show you the one I do use, because it's great. So this bundle, Bird Flock bundle, I think it's $39. It's nearly always in sales when the sales come up. I think it's $39 at full price. It's got, I think it's 6 types of bird, 5 types of bird, and a bonus butterfly. The butterfly is quite nice, actually. There is another pack that the same publisher does, which has another 6 birds in, or 5 birds, or whatever. Now, what is the name of the free one? It's not Flock Simulator. Flock Simulator is just the AI piece to fly around, but it doesn't give you the birds themselves. You could use it. I've never actually used Flock Simulator. I don't think it's even been updated since about 2013. Let me just open up a private tab and bring that up here. Let's find the free version. Oh, you have Flocking Birds asset. Is it the Bird Flocks one? In which case, I'll just get on with using that one, because it's great. Now, I want to be clear, I've never done this. So we're going to be experimenting together. I'm assuming you've tried it, so if you see me doing some things that you've tried and you know don't work, do feel free to jump in and tell me. Alright, so let's go over here. Let's start with creating a folder. Crook's Birds Experiment. And in here we're going to create a Crooks object. Bird flock. Give it an object name, bird flock. Yeah, okay, so you have tried. So it almost certainly isn't as simple as it should be. Let's see if we can work it out together. And then we're going to need to find the birds. Where's the birds? I did import the birds, didn't I? Yep, I did. Oh no, that's the... I must have just downloaded it. That's not the bird. Oops, that's not the birds. I must have failed to import it, but it's a fairly small package. Be nice to have some birds flying over my medieval village here, so this is a nice diversion. I think you asked in one of the comments about how to do this, didn't you? It's the only reason why I've got half an idea about how to do it, because I thought about it when I was trying to reply to your comment. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we create a prefab from the bundle, and I'll just use one straight out of the pack here. Okay, now we've got those. Let's go with sparrows. I tend to prefer the sparrows. Let's go with wild here. Let's just check that works. Hit play. Now let's minimize the... Do we have birds flying around in here? Yep, there we go. We got birds flying around. All right, good. So that was nice and easy. Now, how to get them to spawn? Prefabs. Okay. Prefabs, it was that one, wasn't it? So we drop that in here, the object to spawn. So that's good. Now let's delete the one out of the scene so we don't get confused. And then we're gonna have to use that's fine. Spawn rarity will make it. Can you go even commoner? Nope. Population cap 3, that's fine. Spawn height offset, the Y position offset, the spawning this object. This is your, okay, so let's put that at say 10 meters. Minimum elevation 0, good. Maximum elevation, I'm pretty sure this is a low terrain, but I'll put it up to max just in case. Change that to air. The minimum spawn height on the y-axis allowed. Oh, okay, so I can set that height back to 0 again and make this. Right, so this is useful for water and flying AI that needs to have randomized spawning height. So let's put them at a random height of 20 and a maximum of 40. Don't use spawning groups. Okay, so that's our configuration. Now we put a crux object in here, I think. Can't remember how to do this. Type in chat if you remember how to actually get your crux spawner in place, because I don't see it. Do you do it from the assets menu? Not assets. Don't see it in there either. Nope, don't see it. I'm kind of waiting for. Oh, there we go. Crux. No, that's not it, is it? From window? Could be. Yep. Create new crux system. Thank you. All right. So player transform is going to be the camera. Spawn is standard. Terrain spawning layer is terrain. That might be different in your scene, but not in my scene. Use object detection, don't need to worry about that. Update frequency, blah, 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 blah. All looks good there. So now we go to biome management, create a new biome. And we'll name this birds. We'll make it green just because. Currently no texture, so we need to add a texture. And we go in here. Oh, I have no idea which texture I'm using, so I better go find out what that is. So go to my terrain, go to my paintbrush, and go to paint textures and find that fella there. So it's T-Grass 01BC. So I can go here, select grass 01BC. That. Okay, and then I need to tell it to put the bird flock in there. And I believe we're done. Creature odds controls. I think if we put that up to 100, we're more likely to get them, so that would be better. Now, do I have a fly camera? I don't. Let's put a fly cam on here. That's just a script in one of the assets that I'm using here. Let's see. Does it work? Let's minimize so we can see what's going on in the scene. Crux objects. Okay. So my camera is up really high at the moment. Let's come way down. And what I'm looking for is to see if anything spawns on the right there. Yep, we have a bird flock. All right, excellent. Where is it? There we go. That's how you do it. I can remember. Cool. Does that answer your question? See if we can see it while you're confirming or denying that I've answered your question. Can't actually see any of them in the scene. Let's maximize it. Yep, there's some. I got birds over my medieval city. Woohoo! If I run around, they should come and go. Yay! That's how you do it. All right, so when I finish this stream, I don't list the live streams because obviously they're full of errors and all sorts of stuff. But if you go through to the playlist, you'll be able to watch this back if you can't remember how to do it. It does look superb. I love the bird flock asset. It could do with some improvements because the graphics and so on are not so good. But yeah, the city's coming together as well. I'm still having a few problems with it, but I've solved many of my problems from the other night, which is obviously great. And now I have birds flying around. Super awesome. Look at that. Fantastic. I do love that. Makes a lovely site. Don't know if you've played much with bird flock. You can do some great stuff. Hey Adam Hayes, hey, you have missed. We've had loads of success, and in the last few moments, Pathor came in, and he'd asked me previously in chat, how do you spawn birds in a comment on a previous video using crooks. And so we just did it, and to my amazement, I did it first try. Made me look really smart. Unlike most of my live stream stuff where I look ridiculous. But we have birds flying around, and we have a few problems like this house stuck in the ground. But we have managed to change the textures on the roads, and they look reasonable. Need to do some work on those. Change the sidewalk textures. We've managed to get the lights working. If you remember the other night, I couldn't get them to rotate the right way around. I was just working on, before Pathor came in, I was just working on, ooh, what have I done? Oh, there we go. Seeing if I could get city walls to spawn. And I've had a little bit of success. As you can see, these are generated by CiDy, but not great success because I can't make them join up at the ends here. I was just experimenting with putting a tower in, which is what this is. That was not spawned by CiDy at the moment, so not perfect. I think I'm about to abandon that idea.